I will turn you into AI ML engineer in just 45 days with this 45 days free roadmap. Now, this is not a regular roadmap video where I'll tell you learn Python, learn SQL. I'll tell you what exactly you need to cover in Python. You need to cover in different tools. I'll give you day by day breakup of what topics you need to cover, to which courses, videos you need to watch. Also with this roadmap, I will give you 2 complete end-to-end projects that will impress recruiters. And everything I have given in this video is 100% free until and unless I tell you that this requires money. And I have given the PDF version of this roadmap into my description, so please feel free to check it out. And if you are meeting me for the first time on YouTube, then hello, my name is Omkar. I am currently working as a data engineer with almost having 4 years of experience. So please subscribe to me if you haven't yet to see such beautiful videos. So without any further ado, let's start the video. I'll go step by step. So what are the contents of this 45 day 0 to AI ML expert roadmap? For the first, you need some programming language so that you can write a code as a AI and ML engineer. Now, the first basic language is Python you need to cover, because Python has a more libraries compared to other programming languages like a JavaScript or TypeScript. So the recommendation would be do Python. Then you can do SQL where the database gets involved. You can do version controlling and the development environment. Version control basically means your GitHub where you create your repositories and write your code. The second thing which is important is covering mathematics and statistics. In mathematics, we will cover linear algebra, statistics and probability, calculus, discrete mathematics and statistical modeling. So these all are concepts which are very important considering machine learning or the AI part, how actually model works in behind the scene, that are very important. The third part we will doing is a data processing and analysis. This is basically your engineering. Okay, you are engineering here, data engineering, like data manipulation, data visualization, big data processing, feature engineering. This big data processing is you can consider optional because big data processing requires big data, and for first few of the months you can work on the small data, I mean around 1 GB of data, because here you need to learn about PySpark, Hadoop and their concepts so as to understand how big data processing works. But otherwise data manipulation, visualization by using Pandas, NumPy are easy. Even feature engineering is easy and you have to do it as a AI ML engineer. The fourth part you have to do is starting machine learning core. Now you can see that first 3 part were about the basics, right? These are basic building models. From the fourth, actually machine learning concept starts. So machine learning core. Why core? Because here we are learning about the classical machine learning libraries. Okay, what is supervised learning, what is unsupervised learning, what is model evaluation. Because building model is one thing and evaluating model by their efficiency, by their p-score, by understanding their correlation, by understanding their efficiency, you can evaluate your model. In the fifth part, we'll start with the deep learning and neural networks. In this, we'll learn about deep learning frameworks like TensorFlow, anything like that, neural network architectures, computer vision, and the optimization techniques. In the modern AI and LLMs, this is where AI part starts. Okay, actually, here we'll talk about the LLM frameworks, transformer models, generative AI, which gets used in ChatGPT, and multimodal AI. Okay. In the advanced AI applications, we'll learn about NLP, prompt engineering, fine-tuning, retrieval augmented generation, and the AI agents. Now don't worry about these terms. I'll tell you what exactly you need to cover. The next part here in the AI infrastructure and deployment, where we'll talk about the vector databases, model serving, cloud platforms, GPU computing, model optimization. So these are just a high level topic. These are high advanced topic. Okay, even the vector database is an advanced topic where actually infrastructure and deployment comes in a picture in the AI. Okay. Now the next part is ML ops and production system. Now till this point is very mandatory, till this 8 point. These are pretty much optional or more advanced in ML, where the actual enterprise deployment of a code comes in a picture, where we'll talk about containerization, ML pipeline tools, AI orchestration and monitoring and logging. And in the last part, we'll talk about reinforcement learning. It is another part of like ML model, where we talk about supervised and unsupervised. This is third part of learning, which is reinforcement learning, which gets used in AI, and the time series analysis, recommendation systems, and ethical AI. So these are basically optional. Not even 99% of companies will ask you a question on this, but these 8 are very important, and most 80% of questions come from this topic. So these are very important, and you need to focus on these topics only. Okay, now we'll scroll down and you can see this free resources and online courses. So what I have given is the YouTube channels like a Free Code Camp, 3 Blue 1 Brown, StatQuest, Kaggle Learn, and Google Colab, Andrews NGs. These are very important. Andrew NG's courses for deep learning are very important. Okay, you can note this down. Even scikit-learn docs are very important for machine learning and fast.ai. Okay. For TensorFlow, this is deep learning. TensorFlow's tutorials, they are very easy and given bestly on their website. Even Hugging Face course is simple and streamlined documentations to understand how deployment works. Don't worry, I have given the link of all of these courses below in my description, so please check it out. These are tutorials and cloud platform free ties, and I'll give you in short. Okay, so these are the free courses platforms on the Kaggle Learn. Okay, you can learn this if you have a time only. Okay, these are optional. Okay, these are optional. These courses basically. Okay, or otherwise you can learn from these topics. I'll tell you how. In standard Stanford CS 229, where you will learn about ML and everything. For fast.ai, this is practical deep learning course. You can learn this. This is not optional. You can learn this because most of the interview asked the question on this topics, which is very important, and they have given in-depth knowledge. So it is very good to just check it out. The another part is Google's machine learning crash course about TensorFlow based ML introduction. Otherwise, you can do this crash course or you can just follow the TensorFlow tutorials they have given in the documentation. Okay, and these are just some repository that you can do. So, okay, now let's see about how exactly we are covering this complete roadmap. Now, in this roadmap, we have total, if I can scroll below, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7. Okay, we have complete week 7 given day by day what you exactly need to cover in each day, what should be your focus, what you need to exactly practice. And in this complete roadmap, we will also build one project called customer churn prediction system, in which we will do day by day practice, day by day building of the project. I mean, in the 45 days, we are daily building this project called customer churn prediction system. Okay, we are starting from the gathering the data, pre-processing it, writing ML models and doing cleaning of the data, and final we are deploying on some free website called Streamlit. Okay, so we are doing this completely, and even we are writing the documentation in a professional way. So it is very important and complete. You will get a complete understanding. And after watching this video, you don't even need to watch any other AI ML engineer roadmap video. Okay, so that is very guaranteed. And also we are doing project 2 after completion of this roadmap, so I'll tell you how. And as I said already, that we'll cover one project. We will build that project day by day, and I have given in this roadmap already. That project name is customer churn prediction system. Okay, so what does this mean? For example, if there is a service called Netflix and they want to understand why customer have not signed up to their service or cancel their subscription, this is called as a churn customer. Okay, so we need to understand why customer have not bought or canceled their subscription in the recent month. There might be a different parameters for that, but that is not the scope of this video. This is what exactly mean customer churn, and I'll tell you what exactly you need to do, from where you get the data and everything else. So let's start with the day 1, what you need to cover. So this week 1 of foundation strengthening, from day 1 to 7, we are talking about the customer churn project. That is a phase 1 of a environment setup and data acquisition, where we'll get the data. Okay, for the day 1, we have to start with the Python concepts advanced. The focus is OOP, decorators, context managers, and we need to practice about the error handling and the stuff. And the project, you can see we are setting up the Google Colab environment. You can set up also the Jupyter notebook based on your choice, but I would suggest Google Colab environment. I will install some libraries which is important for our project. There is another PDF in my description where I talked about complete end-to-end about this 2 project, from where you get the data and how you load it and what exactly you need to do on the data, everything on the second PDF in my description. So please feel free to check it out. Okay, in the day 2, we have to do SQL advanced queries. We'll focus on like window functions, CTE, subquery and everything. The practice would be complex joins, analytical functions like row number, rank, lead, lag, everything. In the project side, you have started the database connection setup for the customer data. Okay. For the day 3, we'll start about the DSA, and you'll ask me if DSA is needed in AI, but the basics of the AI, okay, like what is time and space complexity, what are the data types, and where you should use which data type based on the time and space complexity is very important. So you need to cover that here, and the common algorithms for data processing. Okay, and you can see that we in the project we have downloaded the Kaggle, Telco, customer and dataset. Okay, the next part is about the data processing, pre-processing, basically using the NumPy and the Pandas day 4 and day 5. Here we'll talk about the array operation, broadcasting, vectorization. A practice would be matrix operations, statistical functions, Boolean indexing. And in the project side, we have started the initial data loading and the basic array operations. Okay. In the focus part of the Pandas, we'll talk about the data frame operations. Okay. In the practice, we'll do some data cleaning and handling missing values and everything. In the project, we have started the first data explorations and the structure analysis. For the day 6, we start about the data visualization. Till now, we have understood data pre-processing. Now we'll see how the data is looking, okay, inside. So we will use Matplotlib and Seaborn fundamentals. These are basic libraries in the Pandas, and you can install it or you can import it. And in the project side, you have started the first initial visualization of a churn distribution. Okay, these are going parallel. Okay, in the day by day, we are learning something and we are implementing something on our project. So basically you are getting not only theoretical knowledge, plus you are getting practical knowledge of the project or the data. Okay. And on the day 7, you will learn about the Git development and the environment. So you can, in the project side, you can set up the GitHub repository with the clean folder structure. Okay. Now these were the basic stuff. In the week 2, we'll start about the statistics and math part actually, and the data analysis basically in the week 2. Here we are in the EDA, that is the exploratory data analysis of our project side. Okay, so the day 8, we learn about descriptive statistics like central tendency, variance, and correlation. These are very important topics for machine learning. And in the project, we start about the statistical summary of a customer demographics. Okay. In the day 9, we'll talk about the probability and distributions. We'll learn about the normal, binomial, Poisson distribution, and the samplings. Okay. In the day 10, we learn about the hypothesis testing, because t-test, chi-square tests, ANOVA, p-values are very important topics considering your ML and AI. You need to understand the data in more value considering this hypothesis testing. In the day 11, we start about the linear algebra for the data science, where we learn about the vectors, because vectors are very important, the basic topics. Once we start learning vector databases in AI, you need a basic understanding of a vector, which is very important. And also the matrix, which will cover also the eigenvalues and matrix decomposition. And we'll talk about the correlation matrix analysis in our project. At the day 12, we'll start about the advanced SQL for analytics, like writing good queries, indexing, query optimization. Okay. On the day 13, we start about data cleaning and pre-processing, which we have idea about what Pandas are doing. Now here we are actually calculating and handling the outliers and missing data. And also we are doing same with our project. On the day 14, we are starting about the feature engineering. We are creating new feature, we are encoding something, we are converting text to some numericals so that we can apply more our machine learning model in more concise and better way. We can increase the efficiency if we do some encoding and text to number conversion and etc. Okay, so this we can do. On the week 3, we'll start about the machine learning foundations. Okay, for day 15 to 21. Now, till now, we have cleaned our data set, which we got for our project. We have learned how data visualization works, how the data pre-processing works. Now let's see how you can start with the ML. Now the day 15, we have started with the introduction of machine learning. As we know that we have to learn about supervised and unsupervised learning. And we have to split data for preparing our modeling in our project. Now we have to learn about linear and logistic regression. These are basically types of supervised machine learning. And we learn about the mathematical foundations, assumptions, and interpretability. This everything is given in the course and even in the YouTube videos that have given it upward. So you can go and check it out. On the day 17, we'll start about the decision trees and random forests. These are tree-based algorithms, ensemble methods, their overfitting prevention, what is hyperparameter tuning, and everything else you can learn in this day 17. In the day 18 and in the project, you have to implement the random forest compared with the logistic regression, how better and how worse the model is doing. On the day 18, we start about the support vector machines, that is our KNN. We learn about the distance metrics, kernel trick, curse of a dimensionality. Okay, And in the project, we'll do about the add SVM and the KNN model for our comparison. On the day 19, we start about the clustering and dimensional reduction. These are basically our unsupervised learning methods. Okay, we'll focus on the k-means, hierarchical clustering, PCA, and the TSNE. In the project, we'll start about learning about the customer segmentation analysis for the churn patterns. We need to understand what are the patterns of the cancellation of subscription, what exactly the parameters they're basically canceling their subscription. Okay. On the day 20, we are doing model evaluation and validation. Basically, we are seeing what are major efficiency, their matrix comparison, okay, ROC curves, confusion matrix, cross validation. These are basically methods on which you test or you validate or you see that evaluate your model, basically, okay, your ML model. On the day 21, we'll start about the gradient boosting and advanced ensembles. These are advanced machine learning models called XGBoost, Light GBM, stacking, blending, okay, and we'll implement the XGBoost, Light GBM for the best performance. So you might ask me that if we have already logistic regression and other ML models, then why are we wasting our time in XGBoost or Light GBM or any other models, right? So the basic point here is even the models are 10 different models, for example, in machine learning. Now you have to implement or you have to train your data in each model, and you have to see how exactly the valid, you have to evaluate your model, all the models, and you have to see which model is performing better, which model is predicting better, and what are the efficiencies of each model. And based on that, you have to arrive at the last point that okay, this model is best for this dataset, for my dataset, and I have to go ahead and do some predictions. Okay, so you can learn more on these courses that they have already given. So basically, I just wanted to give a short introduction of why we are doing different ML models. In the week 4, we start about the deep learning and the modern AI. Here, actually, AI part starts. Here we are doing some advanced models. So day 22, we are doing neural networks fundamentals like perceptrons, backpropagation, activation functions, and we are building neural network for a churn prediction. Okay, basically these are comes under TensorFlow or PyTorch libraries. Okay, on the day 23, we start about the deep learning with TensorFlow or Keras, as I said already. Here we learn about the dense layers, optimization algorithms, regularizations. Okay, and you can practice this same on our dataset, that is optimized neural network architecture and hyperparameters. We will focus on the CNN architecture, image processing, pre-processing, and the hyper transfer learning, what I'm learning. Okay, in the project, this is currently optional. You can add a customer image analysis if available. Actually, they're not available in our dataset, so you can just skip this part. But you can practice image classification using pre-trained models. I'll give you how. You can check the description. I have already given the day 24 model and how you can test. You can practice this part. Okay. Now, in this neural network part, I have given another project. You can learn that another project I have given in the description. So in that part, you can test this out, the neural part and the AI part. Okay. Now, in this NLP on the day 25, you focus on the text pre-processing, TensorFlow IDF, and the word embeddings. Okay, here we'll analyze customer feedback text for a churned indicators. The day 26, we learn about the transformers and LLMs. We focus most on attention mechanism, BERT, and GPT concepts. We'll implement BERT for our customer review and sentimental analysis. On the day 27, we start about the time series analysis. This is basically optional, but you should know about what is time series analysis. Like ARIMA, it is important and the most common used time series analysis. Seasonality, we'll talk about seasonality. I mean, in which season customer are canceling the subscription or they are, basically that. And forecasting techniques, we can analyze the usage pattern over time, in which, on the weekends, there are more chances of watching the videos on their Netflix, right? So you can analyze that patterns. On the day 28, you can go and build recommender system, collaborative filtering, content-based filtering. So you can build a retention recommendation system. So how you can retain a customer by using this recommender system. So you can do content-based filtering. You need to understand what type of content he watch, and you have to recommend that type of videos to him so that there is a less probability of him canceling the Netflix subscription. Okay. So yeah, on the week 5 we start about the integration and deployment, where exactly now from now onwards we will integrate and deploy our whatever we did till now. Okay, so you can see the model deployment basics. So you can use Flask, Fast API, Streamlit, or model suggestions. Also there is a one model called Pickle or Pickle EL or LE, I don't know. So this model is also important once you are deploying something ML model on with the Python. Okay, so yeah, so here is a serialized base performing model. In an MLOps introduction, we'll talk about model originating, monitoring, CI/CD pipelines. So we'll know about the Docker basics, model training with ML flow. On the day 31, we'll do with the model interpretability like SHAP, LIME, fixer importance visualizations. Okay. On the day 32, we'll learn about the Streamlit web application. On day 33, we'll learn about the advanced visualizations like Plotly and interactive charts. These are optional again. On the day 34, we'll learn about the API development. This is again optional. We'll talk about the REST endpoints and the fast API and the documentation. On the day 35, this is again optional. We are doing some testing and documentation. So we are doing some adding tests and comprehensive documentation. So these are very good. I mean, every developer should know how to do testing and how to write documentation so that you would be a good developer. But again, this is optional for a roadmap, but it is good to know. On the week 6, actually advanced AI on the production level comes in the picture. Okay, so vector databases. So what is vector database? Like you can learn about the focus. You can focus on this Pinacon, ChromaDB, similarity search. Okay, you can practice store and retrieve customer embeddings. You can implement the project of customer similarity search. Okay, on the day 37, you can learn about LLM integration, LangChain, prompt engineering, RAG. On the day 30th, you can learn about multimodal AI, in which you can focus on the combining text, numeric, and categorical data. For the project, you can integrate all the data types for the final model. Okay. On the model optimization on the day 39, you can focus on quantization, pruning, ONNX conversion. Okay, basically you're optimizing model for faster inference. Okay. On the day 40, you are starting with a cloud deployment. Now the focus here is AWS, GCP, and the Azure basics and configuration. Now you can deploy it actually your project, or you can just learn it. I have given the documentation again in the description. So you can learn about, you can read about how exactly you can deploy it, or I have given the one video where actually the person is deploying something on the AWS. So you can go and watch that video. Day 41, here we are learning about monitoring and logging. So model performance tracking and data dip detection. Here we are implementing some monitoring data dashboard. Okay, on the day 42, we are doing some final integration like end-to-end system testing. And on the project side, you can similarly do system integration and the testing. On the week 7, actually, we are starting about the production deployment. We are using Streamlit Cloud for the final deployment. Okay, so we can deploy this complete a system on the Streamlit Cloud, which is a free version of deploying on the cloud. You can write the documentation on the day 44, and you can finally review the complete and the performance optimization, or if there any future improvements, you can write down in your readme.md. Okay. So yeah, so till now we have talked about complete day to day, what we need to do, what exactly we need to do. So what you can do is you can, so for example, if there is one concept of let's say a LangChain, now you have to go on the YouTube, search LangChain, and it is for the week 6, right? So for the week 6, I have given the resource of ML flow tutorials or the fast AI, right? So what you can do, or even a Andrew Wenji or the free code camp or the stat quest. Okay, so now I'll tell you how you can do it. So for example, I am here, I have written on the LangChain crash courses. Okay, now as you can see, these are like 1 hour courses. Now you don't have to, you can go and learn about this, or otherwise what you can do is I have given a separate text-based tutorials or text-based documentation. You can go and learn about on that basics. Okay, so till now we understood and we have built this project called final customer churn prediction system. These were the complete things that we have learned in this project. Okay, you can go and learn, you can read this part. Now there is another project called multi-model social media content analyzer, where the overview of the project is we have to build a system that analyzes social media posts using both image classification and the text sentiment analysis and combining computer vision and NLP. So I told you, right, that image classification was in the another project. So I have given this more detail in our description. So please go and check it out. Okay. And these were the tools I used in this while doing this project. And yeah, so these are the high value certifications you can consider if you want to have a complete understanding of the AI and become AI ML engineer. Okay, so Google Data Analytics certificate. Okay, this is something like $49 per month for a month. Okay, and entry level and high recognition. You can do some AWS certified ML. This is cloud ML expertise. Or you can do TensorFlow developer certificate for $100. Deep learning credibility. This is actually good. I mean, TensorFlow, you can consider it if you have some money and some time. And otherwise, you can also go for Microsoft Azure AI engineer. So which we learn about AI enterprise AI skills. Okay, so what we'll learn about the next part is about the resume, how you have to build in the part 3 actually. In the part 3, and this is also in part 3. In the part 3, we'll learn about how you can write a resume as an AI ML engineer and get the job, and also how you can prepare for interview, from where you have to prepare for interview. Also, I'll give this a complete tutorial on how to go and crack the job. That's all for this video. I hope this video was helpful for you. If yes, then please give it a thumbs up and comment down below AI project so that I get to know you are really interested in part 2 of this video, where I'll share my screen and we will do this project, these 2 projects end to end. And if you want to become data analyst, that is SQL and Python expert, you can watch my video over here. Thanks for watching this video till end. See you in the next video. Till then, keep hustling, keep growing. Bye.